Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And I'm happy today to share a Michigan racer with you, Amber Eberspeaker. Did I say that right, Amber?
Eberspeaker.
Eberspeaker, long E at the beginning, Eberspeaker. And so, Amber, I've heard about you, but this is the first that we've had a chance to talk. So I'm excited to get to know you and your story. So would you first share a little bit about yourself?
I am 39 years old. I am from Greenville, Michigan, and I have 3 children, 19, 17, and 3. And we are a pretty athletic family. I play softball during the week on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, some occasional Saturdays or Sundays. I'm excited for this year. My 17-year-old decided he's going to play with me, so that'll be interesting. He wrestles and decided that he wants to wrestle all year round, so we do quite a bit of traveling and stuff for that. Both of my older 2 boys race as well as I, so we are pretty busy during the summer with sports and racing. And that's about the gist of my family.
So do you have any pets?
I do not.
You've got 3 boys. That's enough to handle, right?
There's a crazy story about my dog. I had her for about 8, 9 years. She was like 2 or 3 when I got her. And unfortunately, my dad or my mom had thrown away some bones and she got into the garbage and noticed a little bit of her getting sick. She lasted about a week. The day I had my daughter, she actually passed away the morning that I had my daughter.
Oh, so, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I got induced with my daughter, and my parents were with my dog at the time. So thankfully she wasn't alone, but it was my daughter coming to the world and my dog went to heaven.
Yeah, that's too bad. But, it's kind of the cycle of life, isn't it? Whether it be a dog or a child, she was your child. The dog was your child.
She was so much my child. If I was around, she would not leave my side. If we were outside and I started walking, she would walk with me. If I stopped, she stopped. If I was sitting on the couch or in a chair, she was right next to me at all times. She was just overall the best dog I could have ever asked for.
Yeah. Well, at least you have lots of good memories. That's the best part. So we have a dog. We have a Shih Tzu, as everybody that listens knows. And so I had 4 children, but and this is not the only dog that my husband and I had. We had to put one of our older dogs down, but they become your child, especially when your kids have moved out and it's just you and your husband. Then the dog is definitely your child for sure. And he goes everywhere with me if possible. And so, it's crazy how much we love our dogs. So Amber, you live in Greenville, Michigan. Tell me, how did you get interested in motorsports?
So that goes back to even before myself. My mom's dad actually was racing late models. And
Amber, go ahead and I'll cut this out. Go ahead if you need to do something. I can cut this out.
You cannot have that. No, you can't have that. No, come on. Go get this one. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to ask you the question again and we'll start over. I can cut this out. That's easy. No problem.
Okay.
This happens. You're not the first and you won't be the last. So you got to do mom duty sometimes too.
Yeah.
So Amber, tell me, how did you get started being interested in motorsports?
So that became way before I did. My mom's dad actually raced late models. He did Cherry, Merritt, which are further up north. And then my dad started racing. and did some derbies and different things like that. Well, when I was about 5, 6 years old, my grandpa owned a marina and decided he was going to build a go-kart track. So we were always at the go-kart track. My brother and my dad actually shared a go-kart. And then when I got to the age about 5 or 6, they allowed me to get a kart. So I started racing. I can't remember if I was 5 or 6, but I started racing it at my grandpa's track. And then he bought some other property and built a bigger, newer marina and built a go-kart track at that one and moved it there. And then when I was about 17 and a half, my brother passed. And he had just bought a brand new modified because he had raced modified for like 2 or 3 years prior to that. So then my parents decided that they were going to finish putting the mod together. So I got into a mod in 2004. Well, it was the end of 2004. And it was a great experience, but it was a bad experience. I did quite well when I got into it. And then there was a big race and I was passing for second, and the guy, I don't know if something broke on his car or what, come down into me, and it spun me head on into the wall, rolled me down the front stretch, and completely totaled the mod. So then my dad decided, let's buy another one. So we went out of state, got another mod, and I raced that up until 2013, I believe I can't remember if it was 2012 or 2013, but I was dating a guy who actually raced street stocks. So he raced my mod and I got into the street stock. And then I started racing street stock full time and ended up buying one myself. And then I just got rid of my street stock back in 2019, 2020. And that was to allow my kids to get into cars. So I sold my car to buy my son a street stock and a 4-cylinder. So then they started racing those. We went and bought another 4-cylinder, and the day we bought the 4-cylinder, I decided, hey, let's go racing. So I went and raced that, and then went up to Merritt with it. And then we allowed my son to get into that car full time because it was actually faster than the one he initially had. And then last year, I raced for a friend of mine and had a lot of success last year in the 4-cylinder. And this year, I decided that I'm going to get back into street stock and actually share the street stock with my son.
Okay. That's a pretty great story that you have there. You know, a mom that sells her car so the kid can race. That's
I don't think I could have cried more other than like having my kids and things like that. But it was definitely a very sad day. I loved that car so much, and I had a lot of success with that car. It was just very sad.
Yeah.
But it was definitely well worth it. I enjoy watching my kids race.
Yeah. But isn't that kind of what moms do?
Yeah.
We give up. I mean, that's just, nobody even tells us as moms that that's what we should do or that's what we could do. It's kind of an instinct for most moms.
I think as a mother, you decide to make sacrifices for your kids that you never even would have imagined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So what are you going to be doing this year? You're going to share the car. Now, does that allow you to run for like championships and points? Is it the car or is it the driver?
Unfortunately, this year I am not running for points.
Okay.
In order to run for points, you have to start at the beginning of the season. And the car is close enough. We've decided to run I-96, which is it's bigger than the normal tracks, but it's a Friday night track. And unfortunately, with Thunderbird closing and just the drive of having to go to different tracks and the gas prices now, we've decided to stay close.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we're not running for points, and I'll be in it here and there, and then he'll be in it here and there. And he still hasn't quite got the concept of racing in a street stock yet. He hasn't had a full year. So, last year, unfortunately, he only got maybe half to 3/4 of the season, and the car got broke. The year before, which was his first season in the street stock, he raced 4 or 5 times and kind of got taken out. And when he got hit, it was in the driver's door, and it caught the front tire, and it snapped the steering wheel. So it broke his thumb at the growth plate. So he was done for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So he still has some things he's got to learn, which only comes with
driving,
more seat time and stuff in it, but he'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I-96, that's not all that far, is it, for you to go from Greenville? How far is that?
It's about 35 minutes.
Yeah, not bad at all. So that's a good track. So that's going to be fun for you to go there.
I'm really excited for it. So I've only ever raced I-96 twice, and I loved it. But it was a bigger track, and now it's supposed to be a 3/8, but if you run the high side, it's more of the half mile.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because it's going to give him more room. It's wider than any track he's ever been on, and it's longer straightaways, so he doesn't have to worry about if he's going to be slow. He's not holding anybody up at that point, or if something happens, he's not in the way. I feel like it'll be a better learning experience for him.
Yes, I think so too. That sounds great. So Amber, what is it about motorsports? You know, you were hanging out at the go-kart track and that. What is it that you love about it?
So I quickly fell in love with speed. Growing up, I bet you I was only 3-4 years old, and my parents had bought me my first snowmobile, because we lived up in Kalkaska area, so we got quite a bit of
Tons of snow.
Yeah. So I had a snowmobile, and we had tons of acres I could go and ride it on. Then we got dirt bikes. The older we got more toys. We ended up with dirt bikes and going up and riding the trails and stuff up there. And then once racing come around, I quickly fell in love with it. And I had so much success in go-karts that I had asked my parents for years to get me a car, and they kept saying, you have to wait, you have to wait. But I think I was like 14 when I got my first race car. And then kind of put that off because I was still wanting to run kart.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I love that your little guy wants mom. You know, isn't that something, Amber, that we can talk about? As a woman in motorsports, we have to juggle. Oh, hi there. We have to juggle so many things. A mom, a wife, you know, a lot of women have a job that outside the home, and then we're a race car driver. There's so many things. And that's part of what we do as women, more so, I'm sorry, guys, more so than the men.
I think that was the hardest struggle with racing this last year. Thankfully, I had the friend I was racing for, he was a lot of help. He would watch her when I was out on the track, or if anything needed done, he did it because he knew I had her. But back in 24, She actually was hospitalized and ended up coming home on a feeding tube, and then March of last year had surgery to have it implanted. So he was tremendous help when it come to the racing and helping me so I could race.
Right.
And
Sorry.
I agree. It definitely, for a woman in racing or even anything, it's more of a challenge to try and coordinate everything to work out.
Sorry, I was thinking that your little one was a boy, but now
That's okay.
Once she sat on your lap, I was like, oh yeah, that's a little girl. So
This is a little girl. This is Camberlyn, and she actually got her name because you check Castor and Camber on a race car.
Yes, absolutely. So how does she go to the races on the weekend? Somebody watches her for you?
She
does
is
she like
at
racing?
every race. And funny story, she actually most of the time is sleeping at the races. She sleeps through everything.
Yeah, that's a good thing. She
absolutely loves the races. I have a wagon, and it actually fits up in between the bleachers. So it sits right there, and it's got a little canopy thing that goes over it, and she's able to go there during the cold because I have a cover, and she just absolutely loves the races.
It's like her little play yard at the races. Yeah, that's awesome. So, Amber, would you recommend, it's hard. It's like we said, it's hard when you're a woman. Not that it's not hard for everybody, because we all have struggles if we're involved in racing. It's expensive. The tracks are a long ways away, all the things, but especially for a woman. Would you recommend being involved in motorsports to other women?
100% I would. For me, it's my outlet. It's my time away from everything, even though you only get, depending on the race and cautions and everything, it could be 20 to 30 minutes, but it's time to get away and clear your head. And like for me, it allows me to recharge, and once I get in that race car, all my issues, my stress, it goes right away.
Yeah.
And I love the adrenaline from getting in the car. And I've made so many new friends and everything from racing.
Oh, yeah. And you can block out all the other stuff and focus on the racing. So what's something, I know you said you like to go fast, you like the speed. What keeps you going back to the track every weekend? What's the thing that really has your heart when it comes to motorsports?
Just the enjoyment, meeting new people, and when you have your racing family and go to the tracks, even if you don't know anybody, it's like getting a new family. Even the people you don't know are inviting and sit there and talk to you about anything.
Right.
It's just to me, it's an enjoyable environment and allows you to broaden your aspect of different things. And I always learn something at the track. You never know who you're going to run into and what they're doing and what they'll teach you.
Exactly. And you don't know who's going to be there that's going to cross your path, for one thing. That's always fun. You make lifelong friends. Even if you quit racing, a lot of those people are still going to be your friends. And there's just so much camaraderie. You can be competitors on the track and best friends off the track. And that's just a great thing about motorsport, I think, too. Yeah, for sure. What was the hardest thing for you to learn when you first started? Like in the front wheel drive, the 4-cylinder, the street stock, what was the hardest thing for you to learn?
The hardest thing was patience.
Okay.
When I went from go-karts to cars, it's a little different. You can't race a car like you can a go-kart, and I had lots of things to learn, and I had to learn patience very much in the bigger cars and realize that it's bigger than what you expect, and it takes a little bit more time getting around somebody or learning how to do the setup, because it's not like you can just get in a car and go and expect to start winning. You have to learn the setup. You have to be patient and get the correct setup. And then you have to get out on the track. And if you're in the way back, you have to have patience to go forward so you're not wrecking everybody or yourself. And it can get quite expensive when you do that.
That's true. So would you rather start at the front, the middle, or the back?
It's always nice to start in the front because it's easier to stay there. But the most rewarding is starting in the back and coming all the way to the front, knowing that you've earned it and you were good enough to get through everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It makes a bigger win worth more.
Right. Yeah. What's your favorite memory? Do you have like a race or an event, something that happened at the track? It could be more than one, that when somebody says, you know, what's your favorite thing or favorite memory? What comes to mind?
I actually have quite a few. One back in go-karts was, I bet you I was like 12, 13. I was still in the kids class, and I had convinced my dad to pull my restrictor plate out of it and allow me to race with the adults. So me and another kid that I raced with actually were told we were too young to race with the adults. And we were at the track for a weekend race, and we waited until their feature went out. And after they pulled out on the track, we pulled out onto the track and went and raced with the adults. And I actually ended up winning the race. So that's one of my best race things in go-karts, because then it allowed me to show, yes, I might be young, but I was good enough to race with the adults. And I actually, that following year, went into the adult class, and I actually won the championship.
That's
so
awesome.
It was nice.
That's
but
awesome.
Then in karts, there's so many in cars that I don't really know where to narrow it down, other than this last year, I actually won my first big check. I won the big race. So that was pretty awesome because I've never had a big check. I have trophies, but there's something about them big checks that are just.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you take it to the bank?
I probably should, but it's actually over here sitting on my stair ledge.
Yeah.
But cool. Another good memory is we went to Kokomo this year. I say this year, but it's actually last year.
Yeah.
And we had just gotten the car fixed up from one of the other races and went down there, and right from the heat, I qualified for the A main, and I was doing great in the A main. I think I started 16th, was up to 9th. And then I got hit. And of course, at Kokomo, if you stop on the track, even if it's not your fault, you get put to the rear. Well, when he hit me, it turned me into the wall. So I could only stop. But up until that point, that was by far one of my favorite races, because I had actually went out of state and I was competing with the boys. Yeah. So I really want to go to Kokomo again, but that involves buying a whole nother car because I need a 4-cylinder to go do that.
Right. It'll happen. And that's a great track. I've been there once for a big sprint car race, and so fun of a track to go to, and the crowd and everything. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So it sounds like maybe you work on the car. Do you do a lot of it, and then do you have help? And if so, who would your help be?
So I do the work. When I was running street stock, myself was my pit crew and the driver. I hauled myself to the racetracks. I worked on my cars myself. And then it wasn't until this year that I didn't even have to touch the car. But of course, I was driving for somebody else, and
Right.
he was finicky and didn't want anybody else touching the cars. So if something happened, he wasn't blaming somebody else or saying you didn't do it right. So he worked on the cars and I drove.
That's kind of nice, really, when you got your family.
It was very nice, although I felt bad because I'm like, well, I'm driving it. If I break it, I'm the one breaking it. And he's
Right.
like, nope, you are the driver, you drive, and I do the work.
Yeah.
So that was very nice. But of course, like this year with me and my son driving the same car, my dad is the one that helped my son on his car. So he's the one that likes to work on this one. But he had an accident back in September and he's still recovering and stuff from that. So it's going to be hard for him. But it'll be my dad, myself, and my son working on the car.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Now, what about sponsors? Do you have sponsors that help? Do you fund your own drive, self-funded? How does that work for you guys?
So I had a sponsor when I was in the street stock, and then he decided to step away from racing. So I've actually funded my own racing, and my parents have helped here and there, sponsored me some tires or whatever.
Yeah.
But now my son's cars, my two sons' cars, my parents actually have paid for those. That was something they decided that they were going to fund the racing until they turned 18. Once they turn 18, then they're on their own.
Yeah.
But I don't have any sponsors. I find it's kind of it's nice to have sponsors, but then you feel obligated that you have to make so many races, or if something happens to the car, you have to replace the stickers, and it becomes more expensive doing it that way than just paying for things out of your own pocket. And if I can't afford it, I either don't go racing or I find used parts, which can be cheaper.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what I've ran into. Sponsors you run into, you have to have them on the car, and you tell them, okay, I plan on being at so many races a year, or I plan on going to Kokomo. And if something happens, you don't go. I feel like you're not giving them their full benefit of sponsoring.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't really had anybody put it in that perspective, but it makes a lot of sense, Amber. It really does. And I can see that, especially when you're kind of a one man, one woman team.
Yeah.
Things happen and you have a life and you can't always afford to replace things or have the time to do the work on the car. And so I understand that's not a bad plan if you can make it work.
Right. I have a very hard time of letdown, and I don't want to let people down. And I feel like if they're giving you money for something, they should be getting what they're paying for.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's times we can't go to the track or life happens. And like last year, we were on our way to the track and we got flat tires. We ended up having to call somebody else to haul the car there. Thankfully, they were already on the way to the track, but just things happen and then you're letting somebody down.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. So how could someone follow you or see when you're going to be racing? If you're driving, your son's driving, is there social media that you are on, and how would we follow you?
We do have a Eberspeaker racing page. I haven't used it much over the last 2-3 years due to my kids not racing full time, and I've put a few updates on there. And with my racing, because I wasn't technically under Eberspeaker racing, I was racing for somebody else. I didn't use it for mine.
Okay.
I really didn't post when I was going racing or nothing, but
Okay.
this year I plan on using the Eberspeaker Racing Facebook page more and posting on my own. But other than that, I really don't do much with social media. I kind of have my profile a little bit private due to my kids and not
Mhm.
wanting everything out there with them.
Yeah.
So it would more or less be the Eberspeaker Racing page.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So when is the first race you think that you're going to be actually participating in?
I-96 opens this Friday. I
Okay.
think I'm going to shoot for that. There's not a whole lot that needs done to the car, but it might be a couple, 2-3 more weeks before we actually get it done. I'm not 100% sure if we'll be able to get the car ready for this weekend, or it's been so cold and we don't have a
Yeah.
race shop, so it's hard to work on it when we're outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yesterday was the nicest day we've had here in Kalamazoo. It was almost 80, I think. And then now it's cold again. And so,
Yeah, and especially towards the nighttime, it's getting even
Mhm.
colder.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, it's not necessary that you have to be there when it's 30 degrees, you know?
Right.
I mean, if you have the choice, yeah, I'm a hardcore race fan, but when it's really cold, there's no point in me going to the races.
Yeah,
I'm
I haven't
sorry.
even went to the races yet this year because it's been
Yeah,
so cold and I don't want to just sit in the stands and
right,
be miserable. And I
right.
even bought the heated chairs for going. I'm like, it's still not
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah, exactly. So
I can
Amber,
watch it online so I
yeah,
can stay warm and watch.
I know, I know. And there's two sides to the streaming. I have a Flow account and I love it because I know so many women from all across the country that if they're racing and it's on Flow and they live in Colorado or somewhere, I can watch, which is
Right.
always
Yes.
fun. The downside of it is if I was a fan of a racetrack that's on Flow and the weather's iffy, people stay home and the tracks need for you to go. I get that, but it's kind of a two-edged sword. But I love Flow racing. I don't know what I do on the weekends without that, because I'm able
Right.
to watch
Yeah,
so
it
many
definitely
people race.
makes it nice because you can watch from anywhere. You
Yes.
can be warm. You don't have to bundle
Mhm.
up and load your car full of everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not the same as going to the track.
No,
It's not the same as giving
it's
them the
not.
support.
Right.
But
Right.
we're in Michigan. We're
I
tied
know.
to a short race season due to weather.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it'll get warm here soon and we'll be able to make it to the track every weekend. So that's a good thing. So Amber, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you'd like to share about yourself or your racing, anything at all?
I think we covered everything. I would recommend making it to some track if you can go, whether it be asphalt, dirt, or even just a little go-kart track. I mean, it's
Mhm.
always definitely a different experience, especially if you are like me and love traveling to different tracks. I mean, this last year I went to 4 new tracks that I have never been to. So
Yeah.
that's definitely on my bucket list. Like St. Louis, I was supposed to go this last year, but I wasn't able to. I definitely want to make it down there because I've never been to the Dome.
Right.
So it's
Right.
definitely you want to travel, go to some racetracks and enjoy some high speed and
Yeah. Lots of good entertainment all across the country.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, Amber, I appreciate that our friend Marcus that you went to school with and that I've been friends with, he's the one that gave me your name. And so I appreciate that Marcus did that, connected me to a new racer that I was not aware of. And so Amber, thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on here and I appreciate Marcus for giving you my information.
Absolutely. So I'll kind of keep track of you a little bit this year. So you're going to have to do a little bit of posting on social media, or else you'll
I
have to
will
reach out to
definitely do
me.
some posting.
Yeah. Or reach out to me and say, hey, we're racing at such and such, you know, tonight. So I like to keep track of the ladies that I've interviewed. So stay in touch with me, Amber, for sure. And if there's ever anything I can do, or we need to have you on again after you get that first big feature win, then you let me know and we'll do that.
I will. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.